It's Kevin. It's what Let Me Tech You. And we're back with another video in our Associate Tutorials 003 course. And with this video, we're going to be talking about customizing your Terraform configuration using variables. And a lot of what we've been doing so far is keeping everything inside the main.tf folder. And when you're working on smaller projects, that's completely fine. Sometimes you don't want to have too complex of a structure, or it's really just a couple of resources that you're dealing with. But in some organizations and some projects, you might get into where you need like dev, test, and prod environments, or you have so many resources and data blocks and variables, and you have it all piled into one file, and it's just hard to see where things are at. So with this, we're going to create another file in our current project we've been working on, and we're going to call this, let's see here, it's called variables.tf. Now you can call this anything, it doesn't have to be variables, but I like to keep the file names kind of consistent to what's going on inside them. So with the variables, what we're going to do is we're going to, instead of hard coding a lot of the information that we have in here, we can create variables. That way, this code can then become repeatable. You can use it in, multiple different ways. You could copy it into another environment and, deploy the same thing. And then all you would have to do is change values that are in your variables.tf file. And then in the main.tf, instead of say having just hard coded values like this, you would reference those variables in there. So we're just going to do a couple different ones here. We're not going to get too crazy, but just to give you an idea of how the variable structure is laid out. So in the variables file, everything just starts with the word variable, and then you have the variable name. So the variable name can be whatever you want to call it. You just want to make sure that you call it something that's understandable and relatable to what you're going to be putting in there. So I'm going to actually look and let's variabilize. Let's just start from the top. So our resource group. So we're going to do, let's variabilize the name and the location. So we got three things that goes inside these. So you got a description, which I always kind of recommend putting. Actually, let me put the name here. So I'm going to do RG underscore name. And then for the value, we're going to put, for the description, this is the resource group's name. And then there are what are called types. Now, types are basically a way for you to define what kind of values can be determined in your default variable when you're passing those through. Now, let me just pull up, let's see here. So, Terraform variable types. So we got strings, we got numbers, we got booleans, we got lists, and then we got maps. And you can also do things like list string or list map. So it just kind of depends on what you're working with. But in most programming languages, you might see these type of things being used. So let's go ahead and for our first one here, the type is going to be string. And then for the default value, it's going to be called, let's name it new resource group. Or actually, let's go Azure Terraform RG. Okay. And then I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it down here, and then I'm going to do resource group RG underscore location. This is the resource group's location. String, and then we're going to go back to our file here, And we're going to copy this. And we're going to put that in here. So now when we want to call those in our main.tf, we can take these out and we'll just call a var.resource group name. And then this is going to be var.resource group location. So now, as you can see, these are no longer hard coded. So I can essentially start going through here and putting variables for various different things all the way down to my virtual machine. And now I have a full file that will allow me to utilize this for different environments, or different regions, or it just makes it a lot easier to kind of create things without having to then go through and change every little thing in here, when all you would have to do is just come in and then change some of the stuff for the default values there. Now, if you don't put anything in the default value, you would have to then name those things on the command line when you do the Terraform plan and apply, stuff like that. So now that we got that, we're also going to, let's do like another variable type. So we're going to actually add in some resource tags. So in Azure, you can do things that are called tags, to kind of put tags on things to help you understand what these are for. Some people use tagging for different things as far as like billing purposes. Just depending on the provider of choice, it could just vary why you would use those. But I'm just going to kind of show you the different types of variables that you can kind of utilize. So we're going to create another variable, and this is just going to be called resource tags. And in there, it's going to be description and tags to set for all our Azure resources. And then the type is going to be a map string. So this is saying we are creating a map. Let me go back to that there. So we're creating a map, a group of values identified name labels like name equals whatever, age equals so, and then we're saying everything in that will be a list of strings coming across, or strings coming across. I mean. So now we're going to go to default, and then now it already knows how the format should be. So since we have the map string, so we're going to do purpose is going to be for Terraform project. And then you can do another one, call it environment. Or actually, we need a then we need equals. We're going to call this production. All right, there we go. So now we have that there. Now what we do is we would just go ahead and call that. So tags on our resources, tags equals var dot resource tags. Same thing for our, let's put it on our network interface. Tags equals var dot resource tags. So now we got our variables set. We assign some values to our variables. Now we're going to go ahead and do some. We're going to apply this infrastructure here with the tags and the variables that we created. So Terraform plan. And this is just going to show, again, if you haven't watched our latest videos, what we are going to be applying when we do the Terraform apply. And we should still see, if we go up here, So we see we got the tags. It's recognizing the tags, and then the tags here again. And then if we go up, where's our resource group? So resource group. So the name will be Azure Terraform Resource Group, Environment Production. So as you can see, the variables are being passed across, and now we can do a Terraform apply. And I'm going to do an auto approve. So now that that's all set, that's going to run and it's going to create everything. That might take a little bit of time because I also did add in a virtual machine. Now I know we didn't add any variables to this, and we could have gotten into those. And so for some reasons, what some people will do is, so your password gets saved into your state file in clear text. And what you could do is, if you don't want it inside of here, you will need to also, you can also create variables that protect those sensitive input values. And we'll talk about that in our next video in regards to protecting any type of variables that will need things like passwords or keys and things like that. So again, if you have any questions in regards to this video and actually setting up variables or applying variables to your files, drop me a comment down below and I'll be sure to get back with you. Again, tune into our next video on protecting sensitive input variables and how all that works. Again, thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you next time.